You've done everything right. You've been the perfect gentleman, always available, endlessly supportive, showering her with attention and affection. Yet somehow she seems more interested in the guy who barely texts back. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about attraction is backwards? That the very behaviors meant to win her heart are actually pushing her away? Today we're diving deep into the counterintuitive psychology of desire, and I'm going to show you why. The space between wanting and having is where real attraction lives. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to admit. Attraction isn't logical. It doesn't follow the rules of fairness or reward good behavior. It operates on psychological principles that seem to contradict everything we've been taught about relationships. The human brain is wired to value what requires effort to obtain. We treasure what we work for, obsess over what remains mysterious, and lose interest in what comes too easily. This isn't shallow or wrong, it's biology. So if you've been wondering why being the perfect boyfriend isn't working, you're about to discover the real mechanics of magnetic attraction. We'll explore 5 core principles that create genuine, lasting desire, not manipulation, but understanding how attraction actually works. Let's start with the biggest mistake most men make: emotional oversharing. You meet someone amazing, and in your excitement to connect, you lay out your entire life story. Your childhood traumas, your biggest dreams, your deepest fears, everything all at once. It feels like vulnerability, like authenticity. But here's what's really happening. You're giving away the ending of your movie in the opening scene. Human psychology bonds through progressive discovery. Think about your favorite TV series. You didn't fall in love with the characters because they revealed everything in episode 1. You became invested because each episode peeled back another layer, answered one question while raising 3 more. The same principle applies to personal connections. When someone has to gradually earn access to your inner world, each revelation becomes precious. They start to value what they've worked to understand. This doesn't mean being fake or withholding your true self. It means understanding that mystery creates momentum. Share authentically but progressively. Let her curiosity about you build naturally over time. The man who maintains some mystery isn't playing games. He's creating space for fascination to grow. Our second principle challenges another modern dating myth: that constant communication creates connection. We live in an instant everything culture. We expect immediate responses to texts, constant updates on social media, continuous engagement. But here's what happens when you fill every moment, every silence, every pause with your presence. Your words lose their weight. Silence isn't emptiness, it's space. And space is where thoughts flourish. When you can sit comfortably in silence, when you don't panic if a text conversation pauses for hours, you send a powerful subconscious message: I'm secure in my own world. I don't need constant validation or connection to feel whole. This principle extends beyond conversation. It's about the spaces between your interactions, the pauses that let anticipation build, the quiet moments that allow someone to miss you. The man who fills every silence appears needy. The man who's comfortable in the quiet appears confident. And confidence, genuine confidence, is endlessly attractive. Think of it like music. A song isn't beautiful because of the notes alone, but because of the rhythm, the pauses, the spaces that give those notes meaning. Here's where we address the elephant in the room. Why does having your own life matter so much in attraction? If your entire emotional state revolves around one person, if your day is empty without them, if your mood depends entirely on their attention, they can sense it. And it's not attractive. It's suffocating. Women aren't drawn to men whose entire existence revolves around them. They're magnetized by men whose lives are already rich, full, and engaging without them. This isn't about playing hard to get or being unavailable. It's about being genuinely invested in your own growth, your passions, your friendships, your goals. When your life is already compelling, she has to find her place in it, rather than becoming its entire focus. The psychological principle here is scarcity and value. The always available person isn't a prize, they're a given. The selectively available person whose time and attention must be earned becomes valuable. But here's the key. This can't be an act. You can't fake having a rich life just to seem attractive. You have to actually build one. Develop genuine interests, nurture real friendships, pursue meaningful goals. When your life is authentically full, her place in it becomes special rather than necessary. The man who needs her, completes him, is forgettable. The man who wants her to enhance an already complete life is unforgettable. This might be the most challenging principle for men to master. Learning to hold emotional tension instead of rushing to resolve it. Your instinct, when she seems upset or distant or uncertain, is to fix it immediately. Make her feel better. Smooth over the rough patches, eliminate any discomfort. But here's the paradox. Attraction often lives in those moments of unresolved tension. When you can remain grounded during uncertainty without scrambling to make everything comfortable, you demonstrate emotional strength. You show that you can handle storms without breaking, that her emotional weather doesn't dictate your emotional climate. This doesn't mean being cold or uncaring. It means being steady. It means not letting her uncertainty make you uncertain about yourself. The men she forgets are the ones who try to make her feel safe too quickly, who smooth over every rough moment, who never let any tension exist. The men she remembers are those who can stand calmly in the fire of uncertainty. Why? Because this kind of emotional steadiness is rare. Most people crumble under pressure, become reactive when faced with conflict, lose themselves when someone else is upset. The person who remains centered becomes a source of strength, and strength is deeply attractive. Our final principle addresses the attraction killer that destroys more connections than almost anything else. Predictability. If she can map your behaviors like a bus schedule, if she knows exactly when you'll text, what you'll say, how you'll react, you've become background noise. Desire needs an element of surprise. This doesn't mean being erratic or unreliable. It means maintaining your authenticity while avoiding rigid patterns. Text when you genuinely want to connect, not because you feel obligated to maintain a schedule. Be warm and engaging one day, a bit more reserved the next, not as manipulation, but as natural human variation. The psychology here is simple. Our brains are wired to pay attention to the unexpected and ignore the routine. When someone becomes completely predictable, we stop actively noticing them. But when someone maintains just enough unpredictability, when we can't quite anticipate their next move, we stay engaged. Alert, interested. This extends to validation as well. If every compliment comes automatically, if praise is constant and unconditional, it loses all meaning. But when approval must be earned, when it comes at unexpected moments for genuine reasons, it becomes precious. The goal isn't to keep someone guessing out of cruelty, but to remain genuinely dynamic and interesting rather than falling into the comfort of routine. So here's what it all comes down to. Attraction isn't about giving someone more of yourself. It's about becoming the kind of person others naturally want more of. It's about building a life so engaging that others want to be part of it, maintaining enough mystery that curiosity never dies, creating space for desire to breathe and grow, holding steady during storms, and staying dynamic enough to remain interesting. This isn't about manipulation or games. It's about understanding human psychology and becoming the most attractive version of yourself. Not through pretense, but through genuine growth and self-awareness. The uncomfortable truth is that obsession isn't born in comfort zones. It lives in curiosity, in tension in the magnetic space between wanting and having. When you master that space, when you become comfortable with mystery, silence, your own completeness, emotional strength, and healthy unpredictability, you don't just capture attention, you become genuinely unforgettable. The choice is yours. Continue trying to convince someone to choose you, or become the person they naturally want to choose. Because the most attractive thing you can be isn't perfect. It's authentically, magnetically yourself.